Hi, I'm Stacey Hoppes. Joining me today is Craig Turner, Director of Youth and Social Services here in Wallingford. Craig, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we're going to talk about a few topics today, but why don't we start with On the Team?
Okay, so On the Team is a program that was established 5 or 6 years ago that's really sole purpose is to assist children who want to participate in league sports or other athletic programs, but they can't afford either the enrollment fee, the registration fee, or some of the equipment, or even potentially clothing, as uniforms and equipment. So it was actually established as a partnership with Mark Brennan, who actually came up with the idea because he was a coach in town for years and saw kids that had talent but didn't have the resources to develop their talent. That's really how it started. And then a partnership between our office, the Park and Rec Department, and Mark. So the sole goal is to, he raises money through 2 events each year. He has 2 comedy shows that he runs. And the fund, all of that money after expenses comes to us, and that money is used for assistance for kids of all ages pretty much that are involved in athletic sports, have an interest in being involved in athletics. So what it doesn't cover is school sports, pay to play. It doesn't cover that. So if you're in a league, outside league, or town rec program, or another town sports organization, and you need some financial assistance to have your son or daughter participate, then you would be eligible to at least apply. It is somewhat need-based, and there is a cap, and the cap actually floats depending on how much money we have and the season, so we try to be as equitable as we can in getting to as many kids with a decent amount of money that makes it worthwhile for the family as well as for us. The applications are here, and they can only get them here. We actually stamp them. So that is a new process that we started last year. So if someone were to talk to either a coach or a manager or people on the management team or the executive board of the leagues, they may have them, but those ones are outdated. We've completely changed the application, so they can only get a current one from our office. They can come right up during the day. It's fairly easy to fill out.
It's not a lengthy process.
It's not a lengthy process, and then they bring it back, and we usually process them if they're fully completed, and we usually review them when they bring them, and if something's missing, we'll let them know right away. Awesome. But within 7 days, they should have an answer.
Oh, so it's a really quick turnaround.
Yeah, pretty quick turnaround.
Nice.
So the 2 events are comedy shows. One is held in the winter, and one is held in the spring.
Okay.
And the spring one is coming up in April 5th, and it takes place at Zandri's Stillwood Inn.
Okay. And
it's usually packed, sold out actually. We sometimes cannot put everybody in there. And the way that it works is there are large tables that seat 10 people, and we encourage groups of adults to come. It's really an adult comedy show. Okay. And they bring their own food, so they're allowed to bring in pizza, hors d'oeuvres, appetizers of any kind, but not bring in alcohol, because the Zandri's opens up their bars and they provide alcohol for tables that want to consume alcohol during the event. The doors open at 6:30.
Okay.
And the show doesn't start till 8, so you have plenty of time to just enjoy your meal and socialize with. And there's 300 or 400 people in the room. It's a large group of people, and you'll probably know other people when you get there. Right. And in addition, they do a 50-50 raffle, and then they do raffle prizes.
Awesome.
And the raffle prizes are significant. They usually range from hundreds of dollars to $1,000. They're big ticket items, so definitely worth buying a couple of raffle tickets while you're there for those items. It can go pretty late. It's 4 comedians, and they're usually out of Boston or New York. They're professional comedians. Okay. So between the 4 acts and the dinner and just the time in between, you can be there for 2-3 hours pretty easily.
Sounds like a fun time.
A lot of fun time.
Right. So for the application process, they should come to Youth and Social Services
and
get the
offices.
application there.
Yep. Just come into the lobby, and you'll see the secretary's office on the right. They're in the secretary's office. She'll hand them, and again, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you won't have everything you need with you when you fill it out, if you were to try to do it then, but a few things you need to bring to just to prove the degree of need.
And you said it's typically middle and high school, but it can vary for ages?
Absolutely. So the original intent of the program was to target older kids because they seem to be the group that was most visible in the cost of their programs.
Right.
Fairly significant, but we will extend it down to younger children as well. Yep.
And it covers teams like Wallingford softball, soccer league,
Any Wallingford
lacrosse.
league that's a
Okay.
sport league,
Wonderful.
and then potentially travel teams as well.
Great.
Yep.
And you said Mark Brennan, he is the one that...
Yeah, and he actually has the tickets for the event, so I should give you his number. It's 203-641-8808, and
Okay.
you can call him directly, and that's the easiest way to get the tickets.
And are they starting to sell tickets now?
Yeah, it's April 5th, which is a lot closer than it sounds.
Right.
And it has sold out in the past, so there have been people that call too late or try to get a ticket later,
Right.
and you can't, so I'd do it as quickly as you can.
Perfect.
And it's a great program.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great event. It's another way that Wallingford just kind of steps up and takes care of
The kids in town.
the kids in town. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, making sure that they have activities they can do.
It's great.
That's awesome. All right, and then our next topic is project graduation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, what it is?
Yeah, so Project Graduation is the annual celebration that is held, sponsored by the town in conjunction with a steering committee
Okay.
for graduating seniors. And it's for any individual who graduates from high school, not just for Lyman Hall and Sheehan High School. So if you have a senior in your house who's graduating from public school, private school, trade school, any kind of school, they are eligible to come to the event.
Oh,
So the event is held the night of the graduation of Lyman Hall and Sheehan for obvious reasons.
Right.
And it's held at the Park and Rec Department,
okay.
and generally runs from about 8 o'clock till 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's a long day. And people, for the most part, are bussed in
Okay.
to get here because we don't allow children to drive themselves and park. One is we don't have enough parking for that, and two, we want to make sure that they stay for the
Right.
night. And the event is comprehensive. As soon as they get off the bus until they leave, they're busy with different activities, food, competitive games, individual games, disc jockey. That list is exhaustive.
Right.
And it's an extensive amount of work, so
Right.
we're always looking for volunteers, adult volunteers who would have an interest in being there.
Okay.
And that can be anyone who's over 21.
Okay.
And they can work 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, or as long as they want, if they have the energy.
Right.
And the date hasn't been established because we won't know the exact date until April when the
Right.
board approves the graduation night, but historically it's late June.
Okay.
And for people that have seniors that are going to graduate in June, they will be receiving a packet, at least at Lyman Hall and Sheehan. They'll be receiving a packet home describing the entire event. It's free.
Do they have to register for the event?
You do have to register.
Okay.
We need information, including medical information, in case anything goes wrong or
Right.
miss here. The event is free, and there's an opportunity for people to either volunteer that night in particular or that day for
Okay.
setting up, or after the event when we break it down, and certainly to contribute financially if they're so inclined. It's not a cheap event,
Right.
but it's well worth it for the time and the effort that the town puts into keeping kids safe for graduation night.
Right.
So if you don't attend either Lyman Hall or Sheehan and you have interest, you should call our office. We do try to notify other schools in the area that may have Wallingford students there, but sometimes
Okay.
it doesn't get past the office. So if you're going to a different school, you should call us and we can provide the application process. Those won't be available until March,
Okay.
but they would get them here, or we can mail them
And
to
March
them.
is right around the corner, so
Yeah.
they can be on a list to receive one if they call now, or...
Sure, they could
Okay.
just indicate name and address, and we would send it right out as soon as the packet's complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as the volunteers and positions, do you know that if there are any positions that are actually needed to help with all of the either marketing and advertising?
Yeah, so
or-
the steering committee, that's a very good question. the committees that are on that in terms of participation, not even at the chair level, but just being willing to be active. There's an entertainment committee.
Okay.
There's a food committee.
Yeah.
There is kind of a publicity committee. There's fundraising always, and that
Yeah.
seems to be one that gets underrepresented. So anybody that has that interest or expertise, we would certainly welcome them at the table. Getting information out, promoting it. And then the night of the event, we actually have hundreds of volunteers throughout the building and outside. I should explain that it's not just inside the building, but outside the building where a lot of outdoor events take place.
Okay.
And we have every area staffed.
Right.
So just to keep the kids safe, keep things moving. And so from 7 o'clock on till 1 in the morning,
Right.
2
If
in the
not a little
morning.
later.
If you want to break it down with us, that'd be great.
Okay.
It's a great time. I'd go over the events, but that kind of
That's okay. We probably don't
spoils
have
the
enough
surprise,
time.
and we don't want to do that. It's worth it.
All right. Well, we only have about a minute left. It went so quickly. Is there anything else that you really need to reiterate to the?
So I'll do a quick teaser.
Okay.
Some people may know about the STEM Academy programs that we run.
Okay.
They're run both in this building and at SCOW, in schools, in the evenings. And so we're very excited about space that we're hoping to open up as a central location for that this spring, or at least for summer camps and summer programs, which would be down in what was the old student center, senior center, which is where SCOW is now housed. So the back of that building is going to be renovated, and we're going to have a dedicated space for activities for after school and weekend activities for kids, both for SCOW programming as well as for STEM science programming. So very excited about it, and you'll hear much more about that as we get closer.
We'll look for that to be opening soon.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. Again, I'm Stacey Hoppes. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you around town.